Two-time Hall of Fame inductees, Brent Godarzi and Marty Young. Back-to-back #1 trucking firm in the nation. Back-to-back best attorney and best law firm in East Texas.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Gilmer Buckeyes Coaching Show. I'm Todd Robinson, your host of the show, with the head coach and athletic director of the Buckeyes, Mr. Alan Metzel, coming off a big by-district win against an extremely talented Center Rough Rider team. It's starting to look like everybody's slowly but surely figuring out the method to the madness, because early on in the season, we had some quarterbacks and a big old running back in Chapel Hill that we had to figure out how to tackle. And here we are 10 weeks later, and I think we had figured out how to tackle a quarterback that can run and a big old running back that was just coming downhill all night long. I'm not sure how you could be more pleased coming into this week after that game, because that was, as we looked up they do have these things called power rankings. And honestly, in our region and Region 2, we kind of know this. But when you look at Pleasant Grove and Carthage and Gilmer and Center and Van, that's 5 of the top 6 4A Division II power ranking teams right there. And Center was one of them, and we certainly saw why. What were your thoughts on the game?
Well, we knew going in that they're very talented, and just watching them on film, they're very explosive. I think Ricky Joe has done a great job of getting those guys. They've always had great basketball teams and athletic kids, but you can tell he's rounding them into football players. And so we knew going into the game it was going to be a challenge. I couldn't be more pleased with the way our guys were focused and just, the offense did their part, the defense did their part, the special teams did their part. We got a lot of guys' game experience, as the game moved on into the second half, which was another plus. So, we were able to accomplish a handful of things that we wanted to do on Friday night.
Well, I think that was one of the hallmarks of the game, is that, first of all, we were able to adjust, and I got to just say kudos to that defensive staff that's working back there, because when I saw the Lindale game and us basically say, okay, well, we're going to play single high and play man, and basically we're going to stop this option run, and we stopped them, and that was a good team. And then coming in and seeing that strategic to say, hey, we're going to play soft man, we're going to keep everything in front of us, but we tackled the quarterback. So if I always kind of look at it as, Coach Traylor used to challenge me and say, well, how would you play us? How would you beat us? It's almost like self-scouting. And I got to tell you, if I'm a defensive coordinator looking at what I saw, or an offensive coordinator looking at what I saw, we scare me to death. And that's a good place to be in terms of saying we're getting better at exactly the right time. And when you got #1 running up and down the field like it's a track meet, it kind of helps too, huh?
Will is just a super athletic young man and just continues to stretch our horizons of what it is he can do. And we're having fun watching him make plays. And on top of that, he's just a great teammate. So all of that together, excited about where we are right now.
Well, it's a good intro. Let's dive into the highlights from Friday night.
All right. Well, we're starting off with a touchdown by Will. So we run a little motion with Aaron Bell here, bring him outside. There's Will in the backfield. We're going to bring Aaron out this direction, then stop him and take him back into the box, and he just goes and crushes the linebacker. And then once you got Will in space, it's hard to stop that young man. He just is supersonic fast.
I just want to make one mention, and because I got asked this by the Center guys that were their broadcast team, and we see them pregame, and I don't think they realized what fast really looks like. And I made the comment, how do you prepare for that when you are an athletic team that's a safety and you've never seen him, because you think you've got an angle like that play right there, and normally there's no way that guy is 7 yards away and he's going to run by those 3 yards and me not stop him, and then you blink your eye and he is by you. Talk a little bit about that idea with preparation. How do you prepare for that speed?
Well, I don't know. I'm glad he's on our team. So when I've coached at other places, we did our best to prepare for other people who were fast. But Will just gives you an element that if you can get him in space, you have a chance to score from anywhere on the field, and that gives us a great weapon, a great fallback plan, those kind of things. Now, if it's 3rd and long, you can hand it to him, if they're going to play tons of coverage, and he can go get it, those kind of things. So they have to adjust, which opens up other things. And I think that's a lot of why our offense is clicking the way it is right now.
And it is, and oh, by the way, clicking on the ground, that takes all kinds of pressure off in terms of having guys in the box to go stop it.
Right.
Pick your poison, right?
Well, and like the other night, our line was really playing at extremely high level. They were winning the line of scrimmage, and so we diverted some of our game plan and just stayed with running the ball because that's what's working. That's what they're giving us. We worked in some things from here and there. But sometimes when you're just winning the line, you just need to pound it, and that's what we did the other night.
Well, even Gervais is running up and down the field.
Yeah,
so it's not just Will.
Himself, right.
It's that line is blocking well.
They did well. Well, let's segue over into our defense. Here's one of our younger guys that we called his name several times early in the year. Had the hurt elbow. He's been able to push through with the brace. But you see Trey Lee here, a sophomore. Who was in the backfield quite a bit the other night, and he comes through and makes a tackle for loss here. You see how we keep them all inside the tackle box. They really worked on keeping these guys bottled up as much as they could. You see Drew Davis here, who pushes up outside and is working the contain, which forces the quarterback to jump back inside, and then there's Trey to come clean it up. So great job of doing, you can see I kind of drew it up here where we were trying to keep them inside those confines and then run and make the tackle.
You can't say enough about the defensive effort because I think we made it look a lot easier on Friday night than it really was.
Yeah.
And really, talking to Tommy, I basically said, look, there was really only 21 points that were there to be had for them. And a couple of great plays. The pull read fake that they had was a fabulous play. Fake me out because I thought we had them dead to rights. The next thing you know, the guys running down the field. Unbelievably talented guys, but we pretty much bottled it up. But if you only got to put, with that offense, 22 points to have a win, you got plenty of cushion. And then obviously you change the way that people have to play you. We started seeing Four, who's unbelievably the cross kid, talented guy, how frustrated he was getting.
Right.
And then, of course, on defense, he had to go play Tarek Tate, who ran him wind sprints about a mile and a half all night.
Right.
It really does get difficult when you're looking at the Buckeyes to say, I'm just hoping that I don't have to have those guys next week, and the list is getting shorter. And I'm liking where we are on the list. So defensively, I don't know how we can be any more pleased against the team that we saw.
I agree.
I'm not sure how much more athleticism that we would see the rest of the playoffs that we haven't now seen.
I would agree. They were as athletic as probably anybody will see. You'll see Carthage with a bigger line. You'll see Van with a bigger line. You see different dynamics. But as far as athleticism, they were about as athletic as what we will see. That is true. Okay, let's move back to our highlights. And you've got our third one here. Will takes a screen pass and goes the distance. I think this one was a 71-yarder. It was a third down. We had a penalty. And so they were really loading up to our trips. And they brought pressure here. We get it to Will on the outside. Now you've got your linemen out in front, and they just give enough of interference that allows him to make one move, and then off he goes for the touchdown.
And great patience. I promise you, if I ran 10-2, I would not slow down and wait for blockers. I would just keep running until somebody got me. But that is a great running back move, but those linemen made it possible.
No doubt. They're great hustle getting downfield, and they know if they just give him one block, he's got a chance to take it to the house. So high motivation there. Here, we're back to the defense here. This right here in the first half, they scored a couple times. Here they are, and like we said, they're very dangerous. This was one of those early stops where it's third down and medium, and we come through and get them off the field and score like 4 plays later.
Right.
And so that's why I wanted to put this on. This is a critical, it's not so much a huge highlight like an interception or something, but it's a huge play in the turn of momentum in the game, a big swing. So we've got a 3rd down stop here. Watch our defense rise up and just stuff them right there, and they end up punting to us, and then we score pretty quickly right after that. So
Pete, we talk about watching the collegiate or the professional game where you had this term complementary football, right? And that turning point is exactly what you mean. It's like when we talked about easily running a guy down from behind and we fumble the next play.
Then it flips.
It's a turning point, but just from a coaching standpoint, it is so difficult to play behind us. And what I mean by that is once we're up 2 scores, we're a different animal. And because of what you have to do. And when you look at a center that you got guys playing both ways, the longer the game goes, the bigger that 14-point spread really becomes. And I think that's kind of what you wind up seeing traditionally with Gilmer games. If we have one of those quarters where we can get you, we call it off serve because we really don't know how else to refer to it, is if we get the opening kickoff score, stop you and score again. Or in this case, if we were going to get the ball in the second half and we go into the locker room up 14, it's not just a tall mountain to climb for your opponent, it's a steep mountain to climb.
Right. Compound interest on that where you're just doubling it. So no doubt. And we're able to do that here. Here we are. This is like 3 or 4 plays after that punt. And this is Dervay Smith. We're bragging on Will, and I got to brag on Dervay. He just every week we have him with some highlight, and he had several. The other night,
150 yards on 2 carries.
Correct, on 2, and I think total he was like right around 200 on 8 carries. So he did an amazing job. And so let's take a look here. It's just an inside zone play. And we hand it to him. The line did a great job blocking it up, and then he breaks, 2-3 tackles right there, and then shows the speed he has. This is against fast guys that he's running against, and takes it to the house. What a benefit to have. Okay, you got Will, and then when Will needs a breather, then you bring in Dervay, who just does tremendous things.
The coolest part, it's not on the film, but the coolest part that happened is as soon as he scored his touchdown,
I know exactly.
Number 1 is the first guy over there to chest bump him.
He's so excited he knocked Dervay down. Yeah.
Exactly. I just get so tickled that they get so excited for each other.
And it's very authentic. It is so real. They enjoy each other. They wrestle like brothers and give each other a hard time, but they really are close and root for each other. Which
well,
is
I'm
awesome.
going to accuse Dervay of having some speed rub off on him while they were wrestling around. So because he played outstanding. If you've got a backup that looks like that,
that's awesome.
It's an intimidation factor all by itself.
And old Dervay, he's got some good bloodlines. Old David could run pretty good.
Yes, he could.
Then you had Davion and Devin. Those guys, they could run too. So they've got a little speed in their family. Okay, so let's take a look at this is another one of those times our defense gets center off the ball. Off the field. This is a 4th down play. Big stop here. So again, early in the first half, and they're at about 4th and 8. They go with a go route. Really talented receiver, and I thought Amari Morton probably played the best game he's played this year.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down.
He just was so calm in his coverage. A lot of times what happens with especially when you throw deep, is guys panic, and that's when they, just run into people and start flailing. And so he just stayed calm and did what he needed to do, trusted his technique, and just played shutdown corner for the most part.
Well, I thought one of the biggest factors of the game was the fact that we took number 18 out of the game. I mean, just our DBs playing soft man, but man nonetheless.
Right.
They took 5-6 shots down the field just like that.
They did.
And quite frankly, the 1 or 2 that they kind of turned around and broke, that extra 12th guy that's the white sideline that goes all the way, never misses a tackle, by the way. That guy played pretty well for us, too.
We were able to get a bump on him and get him out of bounds. You're right. That was good. All right, so here we are, and we've started using Aaron Bell more on offense at running back, and we had like a 4th down and about 3 or 4 here, and so we went to our heavy package here, and of course he just churns it up. Here he is in the backfield, and when you get him going downhill, it's pretty tough to stop right there.
Well, we've renamed this play 4th and Never Mind.
There you go.
So if you get it to number 0,
Put it in his
the only
hands.
thing that's going to stop him is the end zone or gravity, one of the two.
Yeah.
As that's the second week in a row that he's had a touchdown, almost on that exact same scenario. But once again, just another thing for an opposing defensive coordinator to worry about. He also played a whale of a game defensively.
He did. Yeah, he
shutting
played a
down the
lot of
quarterback.
snaps on defense, and we've put him back at linebacker. Our defensive line has kind of gotten up to where we could move him back there, and he's gives us a force and some size, and somebody can go run and tackle, which is really just helping us overall. Really is. Here we go back to our offensive side of the ball. Here's another one of Dervay's exciting highlights. I'm going to put it on the wide so you can just see how he gets to the outside here, make cuts right there, makes one-on-one. You got to make somebody miss. He makes this guy miss, and then now it's just speed. Great job by the receiver, blocking the corner out of bounds, and away he goes. And so those are the two plays you talked about that he was right at 150 yards on two carries. Yeah, a 70-something yarder and an 80-something yarder. That's pretty unique. Not many people can say that in their whole playing career.
Yeah, out of your backup running back position.
He's a dude. He's a dude. He's doing great. So proud of him. So here I'm going to switch back. It's been kind of a back and forth on today's highlights. Here's to our defense. So here we are again. It's still we're not comfortable yet, and we bring Connor Dodd off the edge here on an outside linebacker stunt, and he catches the quarterback unaware and creates a fumble, and then Jet Bates jumps on the ball, and we get the ball, and really a big play defensively for us.
Yeah, that was kind of a nail in the coffin,
Yeah.
but I wasn't comfortable, by the way, until I got to loop 281 on the way home.
There you go.
I don't think that we really, from a novice fan standpoint, watching the game.
Appreciate how good they were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
very talented.
They scared me to death in terms of watching film and the talent factor of just that quarterback individually, and then 18 is 6'5" sitting out there
with speed that's regional track speed.
Absolutely. And we remember watching him at the regional track meeting, going, "Holy cow! Please tell me he's a senior." And then he comes back, and we got, "Oh, here we are facing him." But we got DBs that go man against him and shut him down. Come on.
I was talking to Coach Traylor the night before the game, and he was just quizzing me, asking me different things about him. And I said, here's the deal. Normally you don't play somebody that talented till round 3 or 4. I said, that's why this is so different. Here we are playing them round 1. It's kind of like back when we had to play LE some of those years.
Coach Traylor doesn't want to remember, but I remember.
They, where you're going, wow, this game right here, they're as talented as anybody you're going to play on the way. So credit to center,
Yeah, but I also credit to, and I mean, we'll talk about it in a second with this thing behind us, but for whatever reason, even, pre-game while guys are just getting off the bus, as calm, cool, collected, but also relaxed, you just knew we were going to play well. I don't know how else to take it. You just knew that we were going to go play the best game probably that we played all year. Certainly against that level of competition, and I'm telling you, that's one of the 3 best teams that we played, which is kind of saying something when you look at the schedule that you put together in terms of the first 5 games. We're not anywhere close to the same team we were in week 1.
I would agree. And I'll address some of that, after we finish our highlights, and we can talk some of this bigger stuff, and we'll get into that. Well, let me finish up here with the highlights. This is after Connor creates the strip sack, and we get the ball, and we end up taking a shot into the end zone to, like you say, put the nail in the coffin. The defense did a good job initially of jumping the route on Tarek. Tarek actually breaks the route off. Caden does a great job of moving in the pocket and then just puts it right over the top of the safety. Awesome job.
That's just a baller.
That's being a baller.
I watched a couple of practices this week, and I just noticed that Caden just had fun in practice and was just playing ball. Like it's almost like watching that guy that is that talented guy out in your own backyard. He made a play last week where he really waited for almost the same route for the guy to clear. And here he recognizes on the fly that route is covered, and then adjusts on the fly. But does it like that.
When your quarterback starts making those decisions and those kind of plays, extending the play, now you're at a different level, because the chess match is check and checkmate, with coaches. But then when the players take over and go to the next level, well, then you can make superstar plays, and it puts you in a place where now that you've taken it out of their coach's hand, and that's a neat place to be at.
Well,
so we hope that continues.
Andy Evans told me one time in late 2005, it's unbelievably frustrating when you've worked all week on your own defense preparing for you guys being Gilmer, and you go out there and for the first 5 seconds they do everything exactly right like you coach them, and then one of your dudes does that, and they come back over there, and what do you tell them?
Yeah.
You just kind of shrug and say...
Well, there's times you go, hey, man, he made a play.
Yeah.
He made a play.
Yeah, and Caden certainly did there.
He did.
And of course you've got, almost like we're going to see this week against Sunnyvale. We'll talk about that with the two-headed quarterback monster. I just think that you just got to be tickled to wake up every morning and say, I'm the coach of the Gilmer Buckeyes.
Well, I have been that for going on 4 years now. I'm grateful for that position. No doubt.
It is exciting to watch on Friday. And by the way, we still didn't have this guy behind us to suit out, but he was there, and I think he played a role.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. We had a lot of heartache last week, a lot of heaviness, and the team really rallied. I think a lot of them grew up some last week, in understanding how the mantra of this is more than a game, it's about life, and it was like they saw, like this, and so they went to a different level. They went to a different level of being here and taking care of their teammates and leading and caring about him. And, when you have something that's bigger than you, it changes you, it affects you, it makes the bigger group become one. And that's a very unique thing. In our world, we're so egocentric. Everything revolves around ourselves, and much to the chagrin of a team. And so we've had something happen here that has caused us to turn inward in a positive way, out of a negative. And we want to be there for G. We want him to be able to be there for us. It's a real relationship. And so, the other night when the team walked out and they had him carrying the black flag, that wasn't scripted. That was guys going, hey, this is what we want to do. And they did it. They did that. And that's authentic. That's not me going, hey, why don't we do this? Or somebody trying to do it so that it looks cool in front of the stands. That's because they love their brother. Yeah. And that's different. That's different. That's when it's about what it's all about.
Amen. And we are a better community when that happens. Yeah. And then when you watch that is coming from our kids. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, it's how it's supposed to be.
It is.
And I've never been prouder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really well. We do want to say a special shout out to a guy named Denny Pilcher who got this together, and many people in the community that are reaching out right now.
In many ways.
Yes. Hey, this is a long way from over.
Right.
As I told G pregame, hey, look, man, we only got you for the rest of your life, for however long that lasts. And it's more than just about a shirt, although these are great shirts. Go to Denny Pilcher's Facebook. You can order these coaches' shirts. You saw all the coaches wearing them. All the kids were wearing them before the game. Probably I want to see a whole army, of Buckeyes, but these shirts out there, there's lots of things that Denny's got. There's lots of ways to support it. So we want to encourage you, go out there. Hey, if we got to travel this week on Thursday night, we're going to be playing Sunnyvale. We'll talk about that at Tyler Rose Stadium at 7 o'clock. But the other cool thing is that all eyes are going to be on us on a Thursday night. So all of East Texas having the ability to see how we rally around our own, to me, is a cool thing as well. So talk a little bit about Sunnyvale. Two-headed monster at quarterback. They got a couple of dudes in an even front defensively. They do the twists and the stunts and all that.
A lot.
Another athletic team, maybe not so explosive, but we've seen them a time or two, and this is just win or go home, the next step. I started realizing today when I got asked at church, hey, what's next? And I kind of had a trailerism and said, whatever comes after this week doesn't matter. Right now, the whole season in Sunnyvale. Talk
That's
a little
right.
bit about the Raiders.
Well, they're well coached. We've played them, I think, in 2018 when Coach Turner was still here. We played them in 2020 at Athens, the weekend of Thanksgiving. And so we've played them several times. John Settle's the head coach. He's been an East Texas guy for years. He played at Dangerfield. He and Tommy were there together as high school players. Coached Pine Tree, New Diana, then ended up getting the Brownsboro head job and parlayed that to Sunnyvale. Has been there for quite a while. Does a great job. I really enjoy working with him. He's just a good person. And so that he and his staff, they're guys, you know what you're going to get. They're going to play hard. They're going to be tough. They're going to be well coached. All those things. We understand that we've got to be prepared because they will be. They do a lot of RPOs on offense, run pass options. Both their quarterbacks are good-looking athletes and are athletic. Defensively, like you say, they are 4 down front. They're all solid, and they'll loop and stunt and come from all different directions. They play a lot of cover 4 in the back and read the routes well and that sort of thing. So it'll be a good challenge, and we are not looking past Thursday. We've got to make sure that we're ready for Sunnyvale and play our best this week.
Well, I thought that was kind of the coolest thing. I think our kids played with, because of what happened last week, played with a joy that I have not seen them play with. Just being able to say, we just love being out here together. You saw it all week in practice, that it was fun. I mean, you had guys that it looked more like a let's meet and play in our backyard together because we all want to be out here. I know we're spoiled rotten in Gilmer in terms of, I think that's the 18th year in a row that we've played past the first round since 2006 or whatever the case may be. But we are used to this, and we're used to this third phase of the season. But I don't know that I've seen a bunch of guys that have every reason to be tired and are just refreshed. I mean, that's, I think the cool thing about saying, hey, we got one more week that we get to do this.
Right.
As versus, oh, it's cold, we have to do X, Y, and Z. I don't sense that with this group of kids that anybody's late for practice.
Well, we sure weren't last week. And that was one of the things that, when the captains came up last week after we did this, we sat down and we talked about, guys, it's the little things. What can you do? You say, well, what can I do? Well, take care of you. Take care of the people around you. Take care of the things you can control, and start adding those things up. And so this past week we had our best Monday morning, in the weight room. We had our best practices in the mornings. We had there was energy. There was, when you grab hold of that this is a small part of something much bigger, then it provides an energy and a fuel that is at another level. And so one of the things we talked about at the end of the week was emotions do this, intensity stays constant. You have to choose. It's a choice. And then we try and connect it to being a husband, having a job, going year after year after year to your work to take care of your family, those kind of things. That's how this matters there.
Yeah, and they're getting it.
I think they are.
Yeah, and then you can check a box that's bigger than the scoreboard.
Right.
And that to me is the coolest thing about Buckeye football in general. And it's fun to see. It's really fun to see with a bunch of guys. That Jeff made this comment, Rash, during the broadcast. These guys are just such a bunch of great kids.
They are.
They're nice. They like each other, and we've had some challenges in the past with guys. They just seem to genuinely enjoy being together as that band of brothers. And you can see that in the little things like when DeRay goes 80 yards to the house and the first
His
guy
mom.
that meets him is the guy that that plays in front of him and says, hey, let's get him another carry.
Right.
PRIDE means something. Well, we want to encourage everybody once again, go to Mr. Denny Pilcher's Facebook page. You can get an order for these great coaches. We wore them, and I can tell you they're comfortable. I mean, they're great shirts. And let's support Jeremiah and his family as they go through this challenging time. Come on out on Thursday night. No reason not to. We'll have great weather. We will kind of be the only show in town for the week. We'll get a chance to have an extra day of rest and an extra day to maybe go scout who's next. But who's next doesn't matter until we take care of business on Thursday night. So anything that you want to kind of close with, I just feel like it's one of those weeks where we just can't wait to get to next Thursday.
Yeah, every day is a gift, and so rather than worrying about next week, and Thanksgiving will be next week, and we'll enjoy that, and I hope we're enjoying it by playing next week. But today's a gift, and it's what we're preaching to the kids, and then we've got to apply it to ourselves. I've got to apply it, we all do. And let's make the most of what we're given today and go be great today, and we'll start stacking those up.
Absolutely. Well, folks, it is a great time to be a Buckeye fan in the Army of Buckeyes. Great time to come out Thursday night, support our young Buckeyes as they take on the Sunnyvale Raiders at 7 o'clock, right? Tyler Mother Francis Trinity Rose Stadium, Earl Campbell Field. Did I say that right, Eric?
You're close.
We'll have a mouthful, and hopefully we don't make mistakes again, but Tyler's been good with it for us over the years. We'll be the visiting team, correct?
Correct.
So we'll be sitting across the way. Again, we encourage everybody to come on out, and looking forward to more highlights when we get together next week.
Excited about it.
Fantastic. We appreciate Coach Metzel. Appreciate you, the Army of Buckeyes. We'll see you Friday night. For myself, Todd Robinson, the head coach and athletic director, Mr. Alan Metzel. We'll see you Thursday night, Trinity Mother Rose, Tyler, Texas, 7 o'clock. Go Buckeyes.